Hello everyone, welcome back to the Geekvolution Omnibus. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
It is Omnibus 13, lucky number 13, and Eric and I have a plethora, a gauntlet of things to run through this week. Eric, a really weird assortment of stuff. Just so many strange things and stuff that doesn't go together, and if I had a theme for this show, it would be the antithesis Omnibus. It would be the just the omnibus of a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't go together.
Yeah.
Lots of requested stuff this time, and more than normal because we had to take an extra week to make this omnibus, so we watched more stuff, and we'll see if we can not make the show take 11 billion hours, but we're going to do our level best running through stuff today and be as lickety-split and rapid-fire with stuff as we can, although that's always a bad thing for me to say, but this show, there's so much stuff to talk about. And weirdly, not any big, giant, major movies or anything. Just a really cool assortment of requested things, and then a theater in the movie that, or excuse me, strike that, reverse it, a movie in the theater that Eric and I were looking forward to, but very surprised by. And look forward to that. We're going to talk about Hotel Artemis a little bit later. Other neat things on the show this week include I'm most excited about Comic Vault this week. We're going to be playing a little bit of You Are Deadpool. We're going to do the Deadpool Choose Your Own Adventure comic. I have looked at the first issue, but Eric hasn't looked at it at all, and I haven't been past that. It's all collected. It's not collected. The 5 issues are out now. We're going to play that for half an hour, see how far we get, and then finish it or continue it on the next show. We're also going to be talking about Ronin today. My first read of Ronin. I don't feel remotely qualified to talk about that book yet. I feel like that's one of those things like Dark Knight Returns I should have read twice at least before I tried to talk about it.
It's one of the more forgotten Frank Miller works.
But more forgotten by fans than creators, because
Yes.
you hear creators bring it up all the time. I don't know why it's not talked about more, because it remains, not to review it now, but it remains a really distinct, unusual piece. I don't think I've ever looked at anything like it. I know that Samurai Jack is kind of loosely based on or looking at that really hard, but it's not the
Samurai
same
Jack's
thing.
kind of inspired by it, but with a different ending. A very different ending, because the ending of
and
this,
not the twist in this.
no,
at all.
that's what I mean. Is like it kind of assumes that the twist doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
That's the genesis point of Samurai Jack. Is like I think like they sat down and was like, what if Ronin was more straight?
I think something you wouldn't expect looking, or if you've heard of Ronin at all, is that it's a science fiction epic. I honestly didn't know that about it, and was really surprised by that, and now I understand a lot more why Eastman and Laird go back to that a lot, talking about it, because it's not just the tone and the feel of that book, but it's also a lot of just conceptual things and visual stuff, but like sci-fi visual stuff. There's even a giant rat.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, so look forward to all of the segments this show. Right now, let's go ahead and jump into trivia, and Eric, today I wanted to do a trivia quiz on Fun Trivia again about a movie that I'm about to start working on for Rewind that I haven't watched again yet, that you'll know answers to before I will, but I wanted to kind of use this as a pick-me-up to get back into that movie. So
Is it
we're going to do
Sci-Fi Rewind or Super Rewind?
It's Sci-Fi Rewind. We're going to do a little quiz.
I'm trying to remember. I know you've told me what you're doing.
Transformers 1986.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course.
Yeah, so let's take a little quiz on that.
I'm going to bet you.
Yeah?
One of the questions is, who is the Dinobot that doesn't appear except for one frame? And I do not know the answer because all the Dinobots' names run together for me.
I only know the one.
Grimlock.
So, Grimlock, yeah.
But all the other ones are S's? So it's Swoop, Sludge, Slag, Snarl, and there's another one. Swoop, Sludge, Slag,
See, I don't know
Snarl,
anything
and
about Transformers. I mean, I know a little bit now because of stuff you've shown me since you've lived here. I've gotten a little bit of a crash course on Transformers, and I've watched the 86 movie a few times now, but I don't have a good recall for it yet. Would you be interested at some point, and I'm thinking maybe shortly after the Rewind, maybe next show or show after, would you be interested in a Transformers omnibus?
Yeah, I'd finally make you read Wreckers.
Yeah, because I was thinking, because I've been wanting to read records.
Yeah,
That would be a
yeah,
reason
yeah.
to do that.
Yep.
And we could do a little bit of other TV I haven't seen. It would be a really cool crash course, I
I
think.
think next month they're putting out a big prestige book with Wreckers, and then the sequel I haven't read, and there's also a one-shot. So, because my copy of Wreckers is real beat up. So, maybe when that comes out.
Yeah, cool. We may or may not end up doing a full-blown themed omnibus on Transformers. I hadn't thought to even ask you about it, so while I was thinking about it, I thought I'd say it here. But, so it might be weird if we end up doing that we're doing a quiz here, but don't worry, there are plenty of Transformers quizzes
I bet.
on funtrivia.com. Here we go. Our first question. I've not looked at these at all beforehand. Who is the Autobot leader in the beginning of the movie? Well, that would be
Prime.
Optimus. So I'm 1 for 10.
Sure.
There's one I know for sure.
Sure.
Who reacts to Devastator saying "prepare for extermination" with "I've got better things to do tonight than die"?
Do you know the answer?
It's my favorite line in the movie, but I don't know if I know it. Let me think. Is it? Well, it's not RC, and it's not because it's got a deep voice, so it's not the girl Transformer. It's probably not. Is it Hot Rod?
Do you want me to tell you the answer? Do you want?
No, I want you to tell me the answer.
It's Springer.
Is it Springer?
Yeah.
Okay. Jerry Springer. Okay. Why shouldn't Hot Rod help Optimus Prime in his fight against Megatron?
Wait, don't read it.
Okay.
Because Cup says, "Stay out of it, boy. That's Prime's fight."
Okay.
Is that listed?
Because it's Prime's battle. There
Yep.
we go. Megatron is killed in the battle against Prime. That is
False.
sort of true.
That's false.
Is it false?
Megatron
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
die. He goes and he talks to Unicron.
No, he
gets
goes
turned
and talks to
Galvatron.
Unicron. Yeah, okay.
He gets beat up.
Yeah, see, like, I have watched this 2 or 3 times now, but, I mean, I knew he got beat up real bad, but I couldn't remember if he technically died or not. And then, yeah, no, of course he doesn't. Okay, when Prime dies, and of course I knew Prime dies, but when Prime dies, this is a horrible idea. Why did I pull this quiz up? He passes the matrix of leadership on to,
I know the answer.
Well, of course you know the answer, but now I'm all flustered.
What are the options?
Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, Hot Rod, and Cup.
Do you have a guess?
It's Ultra Magnus, right?
It is Ultra Magnus.
Okay, that's what I thought. What is Unicron? An Autobot, a planet that eats other planets, a Decepticon, or a tree? It's not a tree. It's planet that eats other planets,
Yeah.
obviously. What kind of not... So I knew at least 2 without any prompting or anything. What kind of non-robotic weapon does Springer have? An axe, a sword, a whip, or a twig? It's... I'm not sure. I can't remember right off. Is it an axe?
I'm pretty sure it's an axe, but it might be a sword. I'm pretty sure it's an axe.
That's obviously the 2 I was between. Does anybody have whips? Does anybody do like a lightning whip kind of thing?
I'm sure there are. I mean, some have like kind of tentacles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody distinctly has like a whip,
Like,
but
whoosh.
I imagine that exists somewhere.
Complete this exchange. One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly? That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron. I'm seeing if I can. I would have waited eternity for this. It's over Prime. No, I'll crush you with my bare hands. I'll rip out your optics or Decepticons attack. I'm honestly not sure.
Okay, all of those are said.
Yeah. That's why I just didn't remember where any of them happened.
But read back the initial quote.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly? That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
Yeah, I would have waited an eternity for this.
Yeah, that was the one I thought it probably was, but I wasn't sure. Fill in the blanks. Blank transforms Megatron into blank. Well, that's Unicron and Galvatron. That I know. Who is the leader of the Autobots by the end of the movie? Well, Optimus comes back, right?
No.
No, that's not until the series. It's just I knew that happened at some point. I just don't know this movie that well. Is it Rodimus Prime?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wouldn't have done horrible. I wouldn't have done horribly.
Is that the last one?
Yeah, that was the last
I
one.
assume we got 10 out of 10. Unless Springer's weapon is a sword.
That's the only way, right? Because I had you.
Yeah.
So I had you. Okay. Yes, these things are all right. It was a sword. Oh no! I'll crush you with my bare hands.
Oh. Okay.
We were wrong about that as well.
Okay.
You don't believe the quiz? Are you like, I don't believe you?
No, I'm not saying I don't believe it.
You were just surprised.
I mean that scene is like nothing but lines that are like iconic, so I don't. So yeah.
Where exactly they happen?
Yeah.
Is kind of trivial.
Yeah.
But it is trivia, so
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Time now, everybody, for fan art. Today's fan art comes again from Jonathan Connor. It didn't occur to me, because we've had fan art from this guy before, it didn't occur to me that this guy's name is John Connor. We have fan art from John Connor, and John Connor drew some Darwin Cook-inspired Batman and Superman.
Oh, those are quite good.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the Batman better than Superman, I think.
Yeah.
But they're both great.
Yeah.
So, yes, indeed, he's a really good pencil artist, and I love his shading work. Anyway, so good job, John Connor, and good luck protecting the underground in the future. And now I want to talk a little bit about things happening on Geekvolution and plug some stuff. Eric, like I said, I am about to start working on the Transformers Science Fiction Rewind. I was going to get started on that this weekend, but I got all wrapped up in playing Detroit Become Human. I've been live streaming
3 nights in a row.
3 nights in a row, yeah, and the live streams have been going really well, and I want to thank everybody who's popped in for those. We have gained at least 20, 30 new subscribers, folks just coming in for the, like, live, folks just coming in looking for gameplay of that,
nice.
And people didn't seem to run screaming, so that was really exciting, because I'm notoriously not great at video games, and I'm not real comfortable with the streaming thing yet. I haven't done a whole lot of it, and streaming seems to be, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's almost an art form, you know, like just how you keep people entertained, and how you keep it light and fun, and especially when you're by yourself and you don't have somebody else to talk to. But I was doing this kind of on my off time as just a fun thing to do, because I wanted to go through that game, and I was like, well, I might as well broadcast it. And naturally, like with everything, it turns into part of the channel. And but people have been asking me to do more streams of more things, and the first of those did way better than I expected it to. And so I'm thinking, if I continue to do more streams, I will focus on science fiction and superhero and comic book things, of course, as I tend to with stuff.
Sure.
And I think that's where the interest lies, because I've never done real well with, like, platforming, which is one of my favorite things, but of course our audience, there's not as many people there for that, but if it's narrative driven, I guess that makes sense with me. So
Sure.
it's neat that there's interest in that, and I want to thank folks for being there in the live streams, or checking it out after the fact, because of course folks are doing that as well. But that's why I haven't gotten on the new Superhero Rewind yet, so I'll be working on that soon. I'm finally going to have the commentary for Spider-Man Homecoming with Dan out by the end of this week. Fingers crossed. He and I are supposed to be recording that in the middle of this week. And I'm doing a big yard sale here at the house over the weekend, this coming weekend. So I want to say videos might be like this week. They won't be, because they'll all be from this. But I won't actually, after I get this all edited, be working as much on channel stuff as I will be this stuff. And I'm gonna squeeze in stuff for Transformers as much as humanly possible. So I guess I should say that probably won't come out this week. It will probably be next week sometime. But those are things that I'm gonna be working on. And what else? If you want to support the channel, there's a whole bunch of nifty ways to do that, and we have a lot of really cool perks, and we try to make it another really, really fun part of the community. If you want to go to patreon.com/geekvolution, just $2 a month gives you the majority of our perks, and there's a whole lot of fun stuff going on there, and people talking about all kinds of things in the comments with our Geekvolution After Dark and other kinds of videos. That is our uncensored, twice monthly kind of video podcast, and we talk about all kinds of stuff that we don't usually talk about on the channel, and we swear, and we drink a little, and it's a really good time. Last week was fun, because we were honestly too tired to do that show, and I think it turned out great regardless, so that was a lot of fun. And you also get access to early episodes of Superhero Rewind, early episodes of the new, the newly formed, or I guess reformed, version of Count and Crypto Freaks, which I'm doing as commentaries now, and I announced that on the Captain Logan show last week, but I brought Count and Crypto Freaks back. Impossible to do as a written show now for a million reasons, which I talked about on the Captain Logan show last week, but I'm bringing that back as a weekly series again, and I'm gonna get through that show with you guys, everybody that wants to watch it with me, one way or another. I got a comment from a guy today who is like, oh, but the whole point for me of that show was so that I didn't have to watch Smallville, and I could just get the cliff notes from you with sarcasm. And I was like, yeah, and I missed that, and I hate that I can't do it that way anymore, but I have at least come up with some way to finish the show. So that's what we are doing with that, and you can donate $20 for a request here on the show. We do regular ones, or you can donate one time for a request. That's the $20 tier on Patreon. Again, you can do it one time, or you can continue doing it. We are at about 11 right now. I'm going to cap that off probably at 12. So if we regularly have 12 people, I'm going to cap that off. But you can donate one time if you want to. And although I guess I got to figure that out, because people could like donate once and then next month just donate again. And anyway, if I have, I'm going to have to pile them up. If we have to, I guess the thing I should let folks know is the request thing has been going really well. If we have too many of them, you're just going to have to wait a little bit, because I can't do more than like 3 or 4 a show. Today we're doing 5. That is really pushing it with the amount of time that Eric and I have to work on things, and we're trying to make Morphin Mania for next year, and we haven't recorded nearly enough of those yet, and so there's not enough time in our day to do too many of those. But we don't want to discourage people either, because we certainly appreciate all the help with the channel, and Patreon has been going wonderfully, and we want to thank everybody who's been helping us out with that. Eric, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. So if you guys want to just keep watching the playlist after a brief commercial interruption, I'm sure you will jump into the next segment, which is showing you things. It's new acquisitions. Yes, thank you very much. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now.